guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you the items that I found particularly useful for my baby from about the time she was newborn to where she is now, which is about 4.5 months. So let's just get into this. So the first thing as a new mom, and I found terrifying, was trying to get these onesies that go over the baby's head on the baby, because when you're a new mom, you feel like your baby is extremely fragile and you're going to break it, and putting something over their head over soft spots and while the baby's fussing or crying is really difficult. So for about the first month, I would say, Emily lived in these, and these are just zip up onesies. So I would always recommend zip up onesies. Do not get buttons, or if you can avoid it, do not get buttons, because usually what happens is the buttons will kind of go down the leg, and there's nothing more annoying with a kicking baby than trying to button up all these little buttons. When you have a zipper, it's just easy, zip in and zip out. Very easy. So we had a bunch of these. We did have the button ones, but we preferred the zipper ones for sure, especially my husband. He hated the button ones. And for us, we just, I bought these from Carter's. This is from Carter's. This one is actually size 6 months, but Emily was, from about the time she was born, she was only in the newborn for about a week, the newborn size clothes, and then she moved up. So another thing I would recommend to you new moms is, if you are going to buy these things, just buy maybe one and only one, or maybe two in the newborn size, especially if you know that you're going to deliver your baby at term. And then what I would do is I would just buy the 0 to 3 months and 3 to 6 months. So your baby will grow out of clothes really fast. For instance, Emily is 4.5 months old now, and she's already in 9 months clothes. So, and it's not because she's a particularly wide baby, it's because she is a particularly long baby. So things like this don't really fit her anymore. So I have a couple. I have that one, and I also have this guy here, which is super adorable. If you do plan on having a second, I would recommend getting a little bit gender neutral clothes. That way you can recycle them and you won't have to buy them. These cost anywhere, depending on where you buy them and depending on if you get sales. I bought these online. They're about anywhere from $10 to $16 Canadian. So it will depend on where you are. A second thing to get and to have a lot on hand is onesies. And I know that a lot of parents, and especially me, especially when you have a girl and you're a mom, you're going to buy her 10,000 dresses. And let me tell you, those dresses you'll use once, and you'll take a photo and you'll put it on Instagram, and then you will never put her in the dresses again. A, they're too hard to put on and off again, and B, there's just too much fabric. So Emily now, basically because of the warmer weather, what she sleeps in and also what she is in day to day is she is in these onesies. Oh, there they are. So they're just simple. They're just button up kind of at the bottom. So it's easy for diaper changes. A lot easier than the zip up ones, the sleepers. But as she kind of, grew out of that stage, and as I was putting her in normal clothes when we were out, like I was putting her in pants and stuff like that when she was about a month old, and we kind of graduated from the sleepers, we started using the onesies. So this is basically what she uses all the time at home. So this one is from Carter's. Carters.com. I believe they have it in the US. So if you're in the US, Canada, I think it's Carters.ca. I got these in a 5-pack for about $18. I also got them on sale. It was about 25% off, so I kind of loaded up. These ones are the 6 month size. She's almost a little bit too big for this. So she's basically in Carter size. She's in about the 9 month size. And then we got the flamingo one. I love flamingos. Flamingos are my thing. Another thing that she got, or that we do, is again the onesies. We got these ones from Costco. These are very cheap. I think it was a pack of 4 for like $10. Very good. They are made by Peckle, Pekkle. I will link all this below if I can find it. But yeah, so these are very cute. There's little kittens on it. We have a cat, so of course I'm going to get the ones with kittens, and I love Paris, so one of my favorite places to be. And then again, we got the flamingos because Mama loves her flamingos. And again, it just buttons up at the bottom, and you just put it over their head. The one good thing about onesies, when you do put it over their head, is they actually have this little cutout thing here. So if you can see that, get it to focus. And so when you're taking over their head, you actually just take this down and it comes off a lot easier. Your opening for the neck is very wide, so it's this big, and not many babies have heads this big. So that is definitely my must-haves for as far as clothing goes. Now, as far as sleeping goes, a lot of parents are different. So some babies like to be swaddled. Emily did in the beginning for about a month. We blanket swaddled her. So we did not use those devices with the Velcro and all that mess. She didn't like having her arms pinned. She liked having her arms free and above her head when she slept. And actually that is now the safest way to sleep. You're actually not supposed to swaddle your baby's arms down by their sides. That's what we were told by our hospital here in British Columbia and Canada. So that's what we went with. So, Emily, we then transitioned about when she was about 2 months old, I believe. We transitioned her to a sleep sack. So this is the Halo sleep sack. So basically what this is, it's kind of hard to see on camera, but basically all it is it's kind of like a sleeping bag. So it has the bottom there, has the top, and basically you just lay this down in the crib beforehand. It actually zippers from the bottom. So you lay this out in the crib like so before you put them down, and you put their arms through the holes, and then you just zip it up. So with Emily, the reason why she would always stir kind of in the night is because her legs would get free. So with this, because she's actually in a sack, her legs doesn't get free anymore. So she actually loves this, and this is what she sleeps in. And now with warmer weather, it might be a little bit challenging for you guys, just because these are quite heavy. And the ones that I've only seen fleece ones, and I've only seen these kind of thicker cottony material. So this is by Halo Sleep Sack. I believe these are quite expensive. We bought two. They're about $40 each. We bought these at Bye Bye Baby. We got her the small one, which is rated to about 6 months. This is the only item that Emily's actually the appropriate size in. She has plenty of room at the bottom for this, and she sleeps fantastic in it. It really helped her with her sleeping and not stirring and not waking up. So the next thing that I would definitely recommend, and this will get a lot of controversy because a lot of people talk about nipple confusion. However, I don't really agree with that. I think that babies are pretty smart, or at least Emily was. That was my experience, is that she could go from the nipple to a soother and no problem. My problem was that we didn't have a supply, so she's 100% formula fed now. But this is what we used here. So if you can see that. So we use the Advent. Maybe you see that focus. So we use the Advent soothers. And these guys here, they actually don't, a lot of the soothers, they'll suck to the baby's face, and Emily didn't like that. She was very uncomfortable with it. So what these actually do is these just actually sit kind of on the top of her face, so it actually doesn't suck all the way down, so she's a lot more comfortable with it. We've got the 0 to 6 month. You're only supposed to use these for about a month according to the package. We kind of rotated, and that's why I have a brand new package right here. They're about $7 each, and yeah, they work fantastic. We just throw them in our Advent sanitizer, and that's it, and we're good to go for that. So, and the next thing for a newborn, which is I would buy even when you're pregnant, and I'm reaching for this stuff here because everything's lined up beside me, but lotion. So for us, we use the Aveeno, not for any particular reason, so I'll give you, so the first one we use the Aveeno, let's see if it will focus. We use the Aveeno Eczema Care. So this, Emily had some eczema on her arms and on her chest, and when she was a newborn, and it kind of lasted for about a couple months. This was fantastic. It kind of cleared it up right away. It was absolutely wonderful. The next product that we used was for underneath her armpits, and this is the Aveeno Soothing Relief Cream. This one here, it was just very good because they get very chafy, kind of, and right underneath her armpits over time and behind the neck. So that's kind of where we use this. Now, presumably you could use any one of these lotions, except for the eczema for eczema stuff, on the baby. The next thing we use this after her bath and on her legs. We use the Aveeno Baby Lavender Calming Lotion. Now, I bought this because it said calming. And let me tell you, calming, yeah, you want your baby to be calm, okay? Yeah, you want your baby definitely to be calm. So this is what we bought. It smells like lavender. It's absolutely wonderful. If your baby is a little bit more sensitive, or you find that your baby's going to be sensitive to smells, then I wouldn't suggest this. This is quite fragrant. I personally like the smell. I have no problem with smells, and Emily did just fine with these smells. The next thing is actually not a baby product, but I would recommend it, especially for any new mom. It is the One Step hand sanitizer. And this, let me tell you, we have bottles of this around our house. Emily was born kind of at the end of cold and flu season, and I was paranoid, and I was washing my hands all the time, and I was sanitizing my hands. And I think that's extremely important, especially when you're dealing with a newborn with germs and stuff like that, to use it. So this was, there's a bottle of this in her nursery, there's a bottle of this in the kitchen, there's a bottle of this in the bathroom, there's a bottle of this in the living room. So basically, everywhere in our house, we have a bottle of this One Step sanitizer. Another item, which might be a little bit too big to put on the screen, but for bathing your baby. Now, Emily's basically had a bath every single day since she was a newborn. Now, I know some people say that it dries out their skin and all this kind of stuff, but for Emily, it was part of our daytime, or sorry, part of our nighttime routine, and also she had a lot of blowouts, so the baths were a necessity at sometimes. So, this is what we used. We used the, if you can see it there, if it will focus, get me out of the frame. It is the Angel Care Bath Support. So I'm going to kind of back up here. So basically what this is this goes into the bathtub just like this. It sits like this. And then your baby goes in it like this. Very simple. So you run the water kind of comes up through these little holes, and it is very, very useful, and this is what we have used. And then what we do is we actually just hang this in our shower, so it's out of the way. We hang it at the back of our shower on a shower hook. It's fantastic. When I was shopping for these when I was pregnant, there is 10,000 different baths that you can use. There's the ones with that you can have water going through it. You can have it's ridiculous, the amount of bells and whistles. And realistically, your baby is only going to use this until they're about 6 months old, and then they're in the bathtub by themselves. So it's up to you whether you have the space or you want to spend the money. This was only about $30-ish, not even, with tax in Canada. I bought it from Babies R Us. I'll link it below. And yeah, it was just been great. And then when she's done with it, it's very easy to store. It's very small. It's fantastic. So, and she's used this from basically day one. When we brought her home from the hospital when she was 3 days old, we had her in here. So you can use this from newborn to when they reach about 6 months old, or when they're able to kind of just sit up in the bathtub by themselves. So the next product is again a little bit bigger, but this is a Jolly Jumper breast pillow. Now this looks like, it's kind of like an L shape. I'm trying to get it on camera, I mean. So it's kind of like an L shape. It has all these little dots. It's nice and soft. So basically how you use it, I'll show it to you kind of higher up. You're not going to use it this high up, but you just put one behind your arm, depending on if you're left or right-handed, and then you just put the baby kind of in between you and this pillow. Now, if you're breastfeeding, this is fantastic. When I was breastfeeding, I used it. It was absolutely great. And also, but now when I'm formula feeding, it's even better, and it is fantastic. This is all I use to feed Emily. My husband doesn't use this. He kind of used pillows because he's 6'7". He's really tall, and that kind of works for him. But for us, this is absolutely fantastic, and I would definitely recommend it. It's a Jolly Jumper breast pillow. This does come off. I don't think it's supposed to come off, but it does come off, so you can wash it. And yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. So I definitely recommend that. So it's again the Jolly Jumper breast pillow. The next, I definitely can't put it on camera, but I've talked about this in other vlogs. This is the Diaper Genie. So the Diaper Genie, we have the, I believe this is the bigger one. So there's a smaller one, there's a bigger one. We opted for the bigger one. It is pink. It's not pink intentionally. I'm not one of those people that had to have everything pink. It's just the only color they had. It was pink or blue, and I was having a girl, so I decided pink. This is fantastic. It's fantastic on so many different levels. It takes out the smells from the room. It's a place to put the dirty diapers. And let me tell you, if you have a newborn, especially if your newborn is formula fed, the poops that you have from that newborn are going to be nasty. So you want to just take it off your baby and put it somewhere that you don't have to see it. And I have seen other diaper pails that you can use. They're a little bit more expensive, and they work about the same, so why not buy this? The only thing with this is that you do have to buy the refills. You have to buy the Diaper Genie refills. You cannot use your own garbage bags whatsoever. But again, if you get them from Costco for a 4-pack of them, I think they're about $27 and they'll last you about a month and a half. And I change diapers all the time. I'm very religious with changing Emily's diapers. So it worked for us. Yeah, so this is the most commonly used diaper pail, I think. And you can buy it anywhere. Walmart, Toys R Us, I'll link it below. Next thing that you should, or that we bought and that we thoroughly enjoy is any sort of toy with legs. And this is made, I could sing this. So basically, now that we've turned that off, it seems to turn off sometimes. So basically, any toy like this is made by VTech. This was about $15. I actually bought this from my local drugstore. I bought it from Shoppers Drug Mart here in Canada. It's kind of like a Walgreens if you're in the States. And basically, there was just a display of them, and it's nice and plushy, and it has lights. And Emily basically has been using this since she was, or looking at it, interested in it, since she was about a month old. So it's very good for their kind of development to get them used to sounds and sights. She didn't actually start touching these little buttons until she was, I would say probably, she was maybe 3 months old when she started doing that. But she was very, very interested in it. It kept her occupied for a bit. And when you're a new mom, anything that keeps your baby occupied is fantastic. Another thing that we used, and I just discovered actually recently, and I wish I discovered when she was younger, is diaper rash cream. So if you're a new mom and you are pregnant or you're just giving birth, buy diaper rash cream even if your baby does not have a diaper rash, and use it consistently, because diaper rash, once it starts, it's very hard and difficult to get rid of, and it's also very painful for the baby. So what I have and what we used to use the Aveeno, but now we use the Skin FX. So this is, let's see if I can get it to focus. It's kind of shiny. But we use a Skin FX diaper rash cream. It's kind of, this is a different consistency from regular diaper rash creams. Regular diaper rash creams are kind of thick, and they're, we were using the Aveeno one. It was very thick, and it was hard to kind of spread on her bottom. But this is very kind of, almost like silky, almost like a moisturizer. And it is absolutely fantastic. So she had a little bit of diaper rash, or starting diaper rash, and we were still using the Aveeno stuff, and it didn't prevent it. And we gave this to her, and within a day it was cleared up. So the active ingredient is, of course, zinc, like they all are. This does have beeswax, so if you do think that your child has an allergy to beeswax, I wouldn't recommend it. I'd recommend one of the other ones that doesn't. So this I would recommend for sure. It is absolutely fantastic, and it cleared up her diaper rash, and I use it. I don't use it at every diaper rash change or diaper change. I use it probably every 3rd diaper change, which is, I think, pretty standard for most moms. So the next thing that I would recommend for you is books. Now, me and my husband are huge book lovers, book readers. We absolutely love books. We are both academics, so it's very important for us to establish books for even Emily when she was younger. So we have been reading to Emily since she was about 2 weeks old, and we just use these little cardboard books. This is the one by Sandra Button. They're just basically really colorful, and there's a very few words. Most of the words rhyme. So we got this one too. This is probably her favorite, always has been. And just even these kind of books, this is a great book as well. And this is by far her favorite book. Guess who? She absolutely loves this book. This is her favorite. So this actually establishes your communication with your baby. Emily's a very vocal baby, and I think it's because we have been reading to her since she was younger. So she's able to follow kind of along with us. Now she kind of looks at the pages. She doesn't necessarily look at the words, but it's absolutely fantastic. So I would get reading to your newborn as soon as possible, because it also, as a mom, your voice is going to be very calming to your baby. The more you read to your baby, the best. It's going to calm your baby down. And it also can establish part of either bedtime routine or a daytime routine. For us, this was our morning routine. In the morning, we'd read this for about half an hour, and Mom would sip on her hot coffee because she actually was able to get hot coffee. The next thing that I would recommend is about 1 billion of these things. These are we call them nappies, face cloths, whatever. You can get these anywhere. These are absolutely fantastic. We use this as a bib, so I will demonstrate on myself. But what you do is when they're feeding, instead of using a bib, I just kind of tuck it under here, and it captures all the milk. Bibs, I hate. It's probably one of the things that we bought and I absolutely cannot stand. Bibs are just very, when you take them off, first of all, they're most of them are buttons, and even if you get the Velcro ones, if you take the Velcro one off when they've fallen asleep in your arms, you've now woken them up, and it's just counterproductive. So we absolutely did not like bibs. We tried them. I got about 1,000 of them. Do not like them. The next thing that you would probably need as a new mom is about 1,000 of these receiving blankets. We go through so many of these. These are so good for so many things. They're good for spit up. They're good for putting it over your shoulder if you're burping them that way. They're good for kind of a blanket when you're trying to put them to sleep. They're good for swaddling. They're good for pretty much everything. So if you're going to buy something, buy receiving blankets. We were lucky enough that we got gifted a bunch of receiving blankets. They're more geared towards boys, but we didn't really care. These are the ones that I purchased on my own. Winnie the Pooh, one from Joe Fresh, down in downtown Vancouver, and that's what we use. The last item that I'm going to talk about that is good if you're breastfeeding or if you are formula feeding, but especially if you're formula feeding because you're going to be going through a lot of bottles, is the Advent Steamer. Here it is. It's wonderful. So the Advent Steamer is fantastic. So basically, it's this thing here. It has your lid, which is this. So, and then it has your bucket. So in the bucket, I'm trying to get that to focus there. So in the bucket, basically, it's removable. And it has so what you do is you just put your bottles in. You put water in. It's depending on how much you use. We use about 200 milliliters. And you put the water in, and then you put it in the microwave for 4 minutes. You take out your bottles and they're sanitized. Now, before you do that, of course, you want to wash your bottles with soap and water, which is what we do. But this is absolutely fantastic. This was a must-have for us. We used to use the Medela bags, but we found, first of all, that you couldn't fit much in there, and I kind of doubted that it was actually getting every crack and cranny, or crook and cranny, much like crack and cranny, but crook and cranny actually clean. So this gives us kind of confidence. It's absolutely fantastic. We've been using this for 2.5 months solid now, and it's fantastic. You can do anything in here. Soothers, bottles. I'm pretty sure you can probably do your breast pump stuff, especially if you have Advent, you'd be able to do that. So that is kind of all of my, I was looking to make sure I didn't have any left. It's a little bit of a longer video than I usually put out, but for me, these were my must-haves, and I will do this disclaimer. If these products were not products for you, or you have other products that worked for you, then that's great. These are just what worked for us and our family. And leave in the comment section below, what are some of the products that you guys used and that you guys found useful for a newborn, or what products are you looking most forward to use if you're pregnant still. And yeah, so that's about it for this video. Please click the subscribe button down below. I post content Monday to Friday. I do daily vlogs as well as product reviews, a little bit of ranting, and videos like this where I just give you my little 2 cents and tips on being a new mom. So, and once again, hit the like button if you like these videos. Apparently I can't talk because I've been talking too much. And have a good day, guys. Thanks. Bye.